Hello, Aries, and welcome to Mind, Body, and Heart Tarot Therapy. I'm here to do the reading for the month of November 2019 for Aries, Sun, Moon, and Rising signs. I hope you're well, Aries. I push up all the cards. So this is a general reading. If it resonates, it resonates, and if it doesn't, then it's just not your reading. Do not try to fit it in or stretch it to accommodate your story. But yeah, if it is your reading, you'll know. Don't worry about it. You'll your intuition will guide you through. All right, my dear Aries. So we entered actually Scorpio season. We're gonna have a new moon. Page of Pentacles is your current energy. We're gonna have a new moon in Scorpio. Actually, as I do the reading, for me it's tomorrow, and the full moon in Taurus, in the opposite sign of Scorpio. It's interesting how we have these axis opposition all the time. Okay, so 10 of Swords as your challenge. No, that's challenging for everybody. And it is Scorpio season, so it actually makes a lot of sense. Scorpio talks a lot about transformation and change. Knight of Cups as your focus. Eight of Wands as your advice. And the Wheel of Fortune as your future energy. Talking about change, right? All right, and bottom of the deck, we have the Knight of Pentacles as your underlying energy. It's kind of what you're working with for this month, what your soul is trying to accomplish. All right, I'm going to clarify these cards first, and then we're going to get deeper into this dynamics of energy happening for you this month. You can do intense, Aries. I'm not worried about that. All right, that's a very Aries energy indeed. So we have the Five of Wands with the Page of Pentacles as your current energy. No surprise at all. We have the Eight of Cups with the 10 of Swords as your challenge. We have the Ace of Swords with the Knight of Cups as your focus. Beautiful. Have the Four of Swords with the Eight of Wands as your advice. We have the Ace of Pentacles with the Wheel of Fortune. Fantastic. And we have the Six of Swords with the Knight of Pentacles as your underlying energy, as your theme of your reading. Okay, so let's see. Actually, give me a second, please. All right. The Knight of Pentacles and the Six of Swords as your underlying energy is the theme of this particular reading. Knight of Pentacles, all knights talk about expansion. And in this case, it's an expansion of your physical realm. And that can be translated into accumulating more income or wealth, or like some type of expansion in your career field through not necessarily monetary, but I don't know, maybe learning something new in your career, or getting some type of new knowledge that you can apply in your work, maybe even some type of upgrade. There's a word for that, promotion, yeah. So, or if you have your personal business, maybe, yeah, expanding your clientele, or the area of your practice. And that can be taken into the career field. If it's more in, it can also be into your physical reality in different ways, like fitting maybe more at home in the world, if that makes sense to you. Feeling like able to be more present with yourself into the physical realm. Many times we're like not that present with ourselves because we are so trapped into our minds about the future, about the past, about doing this, about doing that, about not repeating that story, about changing my circumstances one way or another. And then the way we appear into the physical realm, into the physical reality, it comes just from a place of anxiety and dissociation. So, with the Knight of Pentacles, maybe you're expanding also your ability to come, be more present, be more into the world, and really feel through more into this physical reality, into this physical realm. Like, I don't know, the physical sensations, and enjoying more in a more sensual way life through your senses, meaning that you can actually taste your food more, and you can really see the brightness of the colors surrounding you and find joy through that, you know. And you maybe find also like your threshold for pain or for things that you consider uncomfortable to be also a little bit widened. It is a rather slow night though, because you know the physical energy moves the slowest. It's heavy. It's earth, and it's not one of those like super huge expansions that just happen very very fast, like the mind energy, or like the fire energy. Air and fire, those are much faster. But the Knight of Pentacles is moving slow and steady. The Six of Swords here, I feel like part of this expansion of your physical realm, being able to be more present, being able to really show up in the reality, in your in the 3D reality, comes with this ability and decision to move away from a certain type of thinking that you maybe haunted you before. And I see why this is here, you know, moving away from what, a pattern, like a thought pattern that you've been using as a strategy for, they're all survival strategies. You've been using it as a strategy, but it's not working for you anymore. It's working kind of against you, becomes detrimental, like maybe a limiting belief of some sort. And you're moving away from that. Maybe that limiting belief is just that, exactly this, that I can't really grow out of my environment, or I can't really grow within my environment, that I don't fit in, that I don't um, things that you were identifying as well, maybe coping mechanisms, things that you don't really resonate with you that much, that, oh, I need to do this in order to feel good about myself, or in order to have a good week, or a quality time, I only need to be with my partner and friends or something like that, and being afraid of alone time, for example. That's just an example. It doesn't necessarily nothing indicates that here. But yeah, you're moving away from something, that from some type of limiting belief that doesn't serve you anymore, and that's really really great, because it enables you towards this slow and steady growth, and becoming more here, more present. And you know, you have the page, and you're growing into a knight here, so that's great. The page talks about like the beginning of that understanding of a connection with the earth, and connection to yourself, your body, when you're really getting to see the value in that, the value of the present moment, the value of the body wisdom, the value of being more into the now, really. And I think that when you're grounded like this, when you're seeing how important it is to not associate all the time like past and stories or future anxieties to this very moment. The way you show up in this five of wands can be very different, because the five of wands can be both like a friendly competition. It's not really like people fighting here for a real threat, like they're not threatening each other, they're just like, yeah, that type of like friendly competition. You're all good with that, you love it, Aries. But if you show up from in here with all your emotional baggage or with all your past wounds and triggers, then this can turn into sometime like more like power games and petty fights, and it is not productive anymore. It just becomes a reenactment of an old story that you've been carrying. And it's easy to get into that. We're all guilty of this every once in a while, when we engage in certain arguments or friendly conflicts, or not necessarily arguments and conflicts, but also debates and things like this. And then it's at some point we kind of get lost in our train of thoughts, and instead of like being present, we start already like assigning roles, and you're this and labels and you're that, and we tend to say a story that we've said ourselves for the same many times, like a story that um I've learned long time ago, and I'm not able to really be present and read the signs and notice that there's no threat really. If we become defensive, or if we become too passionate about a certain subject, we may miss out what's really happening at the present moment. We go on into a trance. And yeah, I think like you're starting to learn this with the Page of Pentacles is your current energy. You're starting to notice that when you're grounded, there's no threat. When you're fully present, you can be playful. You can compete without attaching too much to the end result of this competition. It's not a reflection of your value. It's not a reflection of who you are as a being. It's just a real playful game, and it's okay to lose, or it's okay to win, and it's okay to use it also as a learning. Like, as we go into these friendly competitions, we learn a lot about ourselves and about the world, and we learn new skills. We learn how to new coping mechanisms and new ways to play the game. Whatever game is that, even game of life. And yeah, it is challenging for you to shed off these patterns and these skins. That I think it has to do with the way you show up in these type of competitions. Maybe we've been taking it too personally before. And you, Aries, you're a force of nature. Like when you're getting fired up into something, holy cow. Like Lord have mercy, um and it's sometimes a little bit sad, because you're denying yourself new knowledge, and you're denying yourself that playfulness, because you're acting out of your wounds rather than out of your grounded self. It can happen. And but you are learning to move away from that now. You are learning that you are safe no matter what, within yourself, within your body. Like whenever you're connected to the body and the present moment, and that like more heavy flow of energy, feeling you like the like really feeling through your senses, rather than just getting fired up and passionate about some ideas that who knows when you borrowed them or when you initiated them. um yeah, you're learning that that's when you are not threatened. You've never been threatened. You've always been safe within yourself. Your body is your safety ground. That's when you can get out of the trance by connecting to your body wisdom, and by connecting to your physical sensation and the senses. Because that's how we are actually uh, mm, perceiving the world. we are taking into our body first, our senses, and then it's interpreted by the mind, and then the mind tells me a story about what my body just sensed. And the story, and this process happens really really fast, and we can't really most of the time figure out what's happening. We're just acting or reacting. And you being ruled by Mars, Aries, you can be quite reactive. Or if you're not really acting out of that inner reactiveness, you have it within yourself, and you build up, and then you build up towards an explosion point that might be outwards or inwards. With the Ten of Swords here is like, um it's happening though. You're letting go of that. You're moving away from this particular pattern, and you're allowing it to uh die off, if that makes sense. That way of showing up, that way of being maybe too aggressive, or maybe too like maybe thinking that winning is the most important thing, winning the argument or showing off, or it's personal to you. I can't really say it, but it is in this context of the way you show up in not competitions, but when you're provoking or being provoked. And with the Eight of Cups here, it also tells me that you're making a conscious decision to sort of move away from a way of feeling. Like, you maybe this was making you feel in a certain way, and this thought pattern that you're moving away from, that you're leaving behind, was making you feel in a certain way. And maybe that served you well for a while. And maybe it made you feel powerful when you would show up like this. Maybe it would make you feel like better than someone, or kind of like re having the feedback loop that you needed in order to feel worthy or good about yourself. And now you realize that what's in those cups, like that type of feeling, is not necessary anymore. It's not needed. It served you up until now, but now you want more. You see, there's a missing cup here. And in order for this person to get to the Nine of Cup, which is wish fulfillment, this person moves away and goes looking for that missing cup, because he wants more. This is not enough. This is just like, well, we grow up, we grow up, and we don't, the same child game maybe does not fulfill me any longer. But this is in your challenge position, so this is not going to, I mean, like, you're going through that, but you're not liking it. And you may have resistance, towards this. You may have resisting letting this part of your ego capitulating. You won't want to surrender it. And even though this is a conscious decision to move away, maybe your mind won't exactly support you in this. So you might feel some internal conflict in there, and a lot of resistance. Your focus, though, is opening up opening yourself up for different kind of relating, something that's more based from love and acceptance. I mean, like, even in this type of like super friendly competitions and games, and we can show up from a place of love. We can still play around and be maybe a little bit of like the devil advocate or whatever. But if it comes not from a place of like, I want to dominate you, or I want to show you I'm better than you, or I want to show you how smart I am, or things like this, but it comes from a place of like, I have my heart open, and I'm showing you where I'm at, and you show me where you at, and we can learn from that. That can change a lot, the experience for you, like how you're experiencing the world. And also, it can be much more productive in the sense that everybody can learn from that, um and it's really really beautiful when we show up from this, from an open heart, from an open space, by offering up what's in our cup. in terms of experience, in terms of knowledge, in terms of wisdom, and in terms of emotion, right? This comes from a deeply emotional space. And it's okay to have emotion, it's okay to show our emotions, and it's okay to show vulnerability. And I think that this brings a deep insight for you. The Ace of Swords talks about like this clarity of the mind that comes once you're allowing this process, really. When you're allowing this process, when you're allowing this Ten of Swords to go, like you see, you have the Six of Swords as your underlying energy, as your theme. You're moving away from something. And you're moving away from something, obviously, you're going to land somewhere else. And where you're landing, when you're getting out of this place of confusion, one place of resistance, this place of um, leaving something behind that doesn't serve you any longer, that can feel like a death to you at this point, especially since being your challenge. You know, you're like it feels quite intense. But once you're letting that go, and once you're opening yourself up to new knowledge and deep understanding, and that deep understanding can come really much from your heart space at this point, by opening your heart a little bit, and by understanding that you've never been threatened, like who you are and your worth had never been on the table. Therefore, the way we connect to the world, if it's coming from an open space, then we grow. If it comes from a closed space, then we're just being defensive and we don't grow. And you know, you're growing, you're like this being present into the moment in a really embodied way. And that's so goddamn beautiful. It's such an amazing feeling when we're there, when we're really here, you know, when we're really here with the good and the bad and the ugly. It doesn't matter, you know, like when we're not going off in a trance of thoughts or unworthiness or even grandiose feelings or whatever, you know, ideas, when we don't need to prove ourselves any longer, what we can simply be. That's such a beautiful feeling. And the sensation, talk about sensations, it brings a joy, a deep, deep joy that when we're not in the present moment, we can't connect to. And then you have the Eight of Wands and the Four of Swords as your advice. Eight of Wands is really, really fast moving energies. When you're building up that you keep your fire energy in a very, very clear structure, like it's working for you. You know how to channel your fire energy. The fire energy meaning passion, meaning spiritual world, meaning intention, meaning action into the world. And the Eight of Wands is intentional energy happening, so it's happening really, really fast. It also talks about messages and downloads right now. So you may get like these downloads as you're like so opening up, and as you're clearing your mind here, and when you connect to your body, you might get some downloads that are very, very fast, and things that understanding, like deep, deep understanding of your world start making sense. And this, it can come like um deep insights, really. And it's something like vertical, it comes from your higher self, you know, deep understanding of maybe why you were coming from, where you're coming, what you've left behind, and connecting to that place of loving awareness. And you understand how things work, and you understand how your world works, and you understand what makes you tick, and you understand how to channel your passion. And for that, like it comes as an advice though, for that you need to clear your mind, you need to keep your mind at rest. You have this great insight and mind clarity and the birth of a new idea, and then you have all these downloads that can be like, if you go into a rampart of thoughts with this and start like analyzing your entire life, then you're losing it. It's really like, that's why the Four of Swords is here. It's really telling you to calm your mind, to stay through this experience without falling into the need of thinking and overthinking everything. Just stay with it, be present as it is, and allow yourself to have the experience, of these downloads, and feel through them without overthinking, without going into um the trance of thought, and yeah, just like wanting to figure it all out. And as we're going into Sagittarius season, towards the end of the month, here's the Wheel of Fortune, which is actually Jupiter energy. It's still about expansion, it's about growth, and it's about change. And with the Ace of Pentacles, which is about opportunities, which is about real life opportunities into this physical realm that we're talking about, into your 3D reality. That again can have to do with your career, can have to do with I don't know how the your earth energy is moving for you. What is it that you're managing to um create, or to use as opportunity, to recognize the opportunity and to roll with it. And I think that this hard work that you're putting here, with like really taking responsibility for your own for your thoughts, really, and understanding that whatever it is that created this pattern and this way of thinking, it's not there anymore and it's unnecessary at this point. This is like propelling you into a huge new cycle, and enables you to grow in a way that you're not familiar with. The Wheel of Fortune is expansion and change. It's also a little bit of a warning that you need to stay centered in the midst of all this change. Change is natural, and change is whatever it is that you're experiencing right now, whether it's this, whether it's this, whether it's this, whether it's this, at some point is going to change. Nothing lasts forever. And I think that actually that's in our all benefit, because we couldn't survive, or can really it would be like hell. I'm thinking, like, when I'm thinking about nothing lasts forever and our resistance to that, I'm also thinking about the song Hotel California, where they're all stuck forever into that party at that hotel, whatever, the song. um that would be like a dystopian reality. So yeah, nothing lasts forever, and growth is happening naturally as we are um surrendering our resistance to change, and we can really embrace change here. There's a lot of change coming in, apparently, but I think it's in the best way that it can happen. There's a deep understanding about some of your old patterns. There's moving away from that. There's the opening of the heart. There's these downloads and your mind clarity coming in, and then there's this expansion on your physical realm from a place of opportunity. So that's fantastic, Aries. I'm so happy for you. I'm gonna pull out a Rumi card to see what's the wisdom of the heart for you this month. Anyway, this is the last month of Jupiter in Sagittarius at home, so that's gonna be interesting. Okay, Sacred Union, number 19. Let's see what this says. Okay, Sacred Union. The Rumi poem says, only the oneness of love and the lover is eternal. Surrender your heart into this union, for all else in this world is momentary. Sorry. We just talked about coming from that place of love and connection and opening. And then we talked about how nothing lasts forever. For all else in this world is momentary. Well, thank you, Rumi. I'm going to go to the guidance here. So, this oracle comes with a particular piece of guidance for you. No matter what has been, what has succeeded, and what has appeared to fail, what has been loved and what had been lost, there is only one truth that will prevail in your life without failure, without exception, and that is love. It is all you truly seeking, and it is behind every life experience seeking you. Do not stand back from it. Do not put yourself aside, turn down your eyes, and pretend you cannot be seen by the world. Be bold. Yeah, come with that boldness, but from the love place. Claim the love that is your divine birthright, and know that sacred union is yours, destined in the heavens and blessed by the great beloved. Beautiful. Thank you so much for being here, Aries. This is a wonderful reading. It's very inspiring. Thank you so much for doing your inner work and for being present with yourself and for creating like more love into this world. It's a deep, transformative process, and we are all grateful for it. So, thank you so much. If you resonate with this reading, please like, share, and subscribe. And do enjoy the Scorpio season.